Hey everyone, happy baby name Monday. I hope you're well. Let me know any birth announcements below. Seems like there's so many babies being born at Christmas, which is so lovely. I'm SJ, this is Baby Name Mondays, home of all things baby names here on YouTube. So do hit subscribe if you're new and you love baby names or you're naming a little baby. Today's list is such an interesting one because I love looking at like future trends and all the statistics. So funny, there's a lot of statistics out there. And these are the most popularly fastest rising names in America. So all this data is from Social Security, who like over in England we have the Office of National Statistics, which is normally what I use to get all my data, but I went over to the Social Security website and found a whole load of new names. Some of these names have gone up literally like 6,000 places in 1 year alone. So I think we're going to absolutely love them, and they come from all over the world. Some of them surprised me, so yes, sit down, get relaxed, get ready for some names. I'm going to hit you with 20 names, boys and girls, top 10. So at number 10, for girls, it is the name Salem. At number 10, it has gone up 260 spots, so it's the 10th most popularly rising name for girls over in the US. It's now ranked at number 752, so inside the top 1,000, Salem, and it's also at number 11 in terms of the most popularly rising names for boys, so it's a true non-binary name. What do you think of it? So Salem, I think what pops to most of our minds immediately are the Salem witch trials, which were over in Massachusetts. I'd never say that. Massachusetts, you know. And also the name of the cat in Sabrina the Teenage Witch. So what is bringing it back into popularity as a first name? There's lots of Netflix shows around the witch trials, but it seems like an unusual name choice to be bringing that part of history into a name. So it could be that people are looking at the more religious meaning for Salem. Some people say it is a shortened form of Jerusalem, and it does come up as also meaning safety. But for that version of the name, you'd actually need to pronounce it a bit differently. It would have a shorter A and a longer E, so it would be Salem. So Salem means peace or safety. Salem is more of a place name, so maybe they're pronouncing it Salem. Do you have this name on your list? Let me know all about it, why you love it, or do you think it's just too out there for you? But it was so interesting. At number 10 for boys is the name Archie. So again, that's really popular over here as well. Nickname names we talk about a lot. Add IE to the end of anything and you'll see it flying through the charts in 2020. That has gone up 316 places and is now at number 672, and it's actually higher here in the UK. Archie, great name, really sweet. At number 9 for girls, I really love this name, and it's Inoa. So it's kind of got a bit of Winona vibes and a bit of Ina, I know an Ina, which is a Scandi name, and Noah as well, the nickname Noah for girls I really like, so Inoa. Isn't it gorgeous? And it is actually a place name. It is a French place, which is very religious. It's very linked to a vision of the Virgin Mary. So Inoa, for those who are from that region in France, would see this as a very religious name. So it's really lovely to see it on the rise, Inoa. It's a bit like I know a story about Inoa. So I do think of it like that a little bit as well. But what do you think of Inoa? And at number 9 for boys, these two really kind of go together. It's the boy name Atreus. I really like that as well, Atreus. When you say it, it's a really gorgeous sound. So interesting that this is rising through the charts quickly over in the US. It's actually a Greek mythology name. Atreus was the great grandson of Zeus. So he is sort of in that realm as well. A lot of people I think are getting this more from a game, so a computer game which is called God of War, where Atreus was a character in it, and it's kind of linked to his real myth, but not absolutely perfectly. But you know, computer games do good things for names. You think about Zelda, you know, Zelda's quite a popular name, came out from computer games. So Atreus, what do you think? If you actually listen to the pronunciation in Greek, it's more like the word actress without the, I always think curly curl, because I have a little school child. It's more like Atrus with 2 syllables, but in the US they were more saying it is Atreus. So which version do you prefer? Would this make it onto your name list? I really liked Atticus for my own name list, and Atreus I could really see myself falling in love with. Already gone up 402 places in 1 year. So I can see if it carries on in this trajectory, it's going to get popular very quickly. It's at number 788 at the moment. At number 8 are quite familiar names. It is the name Oakley for girls, which if you follow my channel for a while, you know I really liked the name Oakley. I actually liked it for my son. My husband really sees this as a brand name, like Oakley glasses, and can't get on board with it, but Oakley is a gorgeous one. It means oak clearing, lovely naturey sounds, really sort of boho festival-y to me, I think. It's actually gone up 313 spots and is now at 852 over in the US. And for boys, a name that's gone up 426 spots, now just inside the top 1,000, is the name Seven. How crazy is that? Seven. So it is Harper Beckham's middle name, is how I know it more as a name, for her dad's number on his football shirt. He was always played number 7. So how interesting that 7 is the number that has been chosen to go up there. Obviously, number names and days of the week names are really gaining in popularity everywhere. But I'm interested to see why 7. Why do you think? What theories could we come up with why 7 in particular? Obviously, I think in Stranger Things there was a character named 11. So yeah, 7. I mean, it sounds really good. It's a little bit like Stephen, so maybe it just sounds really, really wearable. But if you know a reason why, for girls, the next 2 are actually really pretty much the same name. So going up 361 spots is the name Alaia. That's nice, isn't it? Alaia. So again, a really interesting, soft and gentle name. Just one you would never really get bored of saying. And the L sound and the Y is so gorgeous. It's got 2 kind of meanings. So it does mean joyful, and that comes up first. And actually all of these names have such positive meanings, which is a really nice thing to see. But also it has kind of Buddhist vibes as well, where apparently it is a higher state of consciousness. But then that is at number 7. And then at number 6, it's basically the same name without the Y, and I think you would say it the same way, Alaia. But that comes up as meaning sublime. So it's basically just 2 different spellings. Interestingly, without the Y, an Alaia is also a vintage Hawaiian surfboard, which I think is really, really makes it stand out to me, because I just would love to be an Hawaiian surfer. I'm definitely not. But Alaia, yeah, Hawaiian surfboard. I thought that some of you would really enjoy that as well, having that in the meaning. But yeah, what gorgeous names. Both at 7 and at 6, both rising massively. For boys, at number 7, most popularly rising name at 471 spots. I'd never heard. I really like it, and it is Eliel. Eliel. So I would say Eliel when I looked at this, but I've looked at a lot of forums, listened to pronunciations, and people say this is my name and I pronounce it Eliel, almost like you know, the letters Eliel. I've not come across it on many lists, and I'm so interested in it because it is actually a Hebrew name. And I've done a whole list of like unique Hebrew names because we love them, like Noah's and Jacob's for our boys, Ezekiel, I really love Boaz, I really love, and now Eliel. So have you heard it? Obviously it's really on the rise at the moment, so that means it's probably going to be emerging out there in the playgrounds and stuff like that. If you think this is one, Ellis is really popular. If that's too popular, you could go with Eliel. And right next to it, for boys, at number 6, is another Hebrew name, Azel. So how lovely is that? I think that is so trendy. I love the Z in it. I think that when we're looking for something that's a little bit different, Ezra has boomed over here in the UK, and Azel, I can see hot on its heels. So I love those 2 together. It's almost like the 2 really trendy brothers, Eliel and Azel. Yeah, I love that one. That's gone up 511 spots just in 1 year alone. For girls, at number 5 is the name Yritza, which actually means little butterfly. You know I'm gonna love that. I love butterflies. It's at 406 spots. It's now at 810, Yritza. So really, really gorgeous again. Lots of long names for girls. We really, really like them, and we love that meaning. Really, really soft and gentle. The boys are kind of matching pair again, actually. It's the name Ambrose. So really familiar with the name Ambrose. It's actually got a really strong name meaning because it means immortal. So it's kind of, I find it a really gentle sounding name, but then I love the fact that it's got this kind of immortal as its name meaning. It's at 516 spots, is now inside the top 1,000 over in the US. At number 4, so the 4th most popularly rising name over in the US of the year, is the name Imani. Imani. So I really like that again. It seems very, very glamorous to me. Imani, spelt like this, it seems to be totally unique, really almost an invented name, but it is already at number 955, going up 422 spots, Imani. So one that you might really, really like. I think the nickname Emmy is really, really nice for that as well, Imani. It's a bit like my sister's called Naomi, so it's kind of got vibes of that for me. And then I loved this one for boys. It's the name Cairo. Up 623 spots in 1 year alone. That is crazy. So it's at number 719 now, Cairo. So that's really nice. It is a sort of a different spelling for a place name of Cairo in Egypt. And a lot of you, I know your pet peeve is when people just change the spellings of something, Cairo, like that. I asked for your pet peeves over on my community tab, and they're very funny to read, so do make sure after this video you go over there and have a read of them. But Cairo, personally, I really like it. I grew up going to a very dodgy nightclub in Swindon, in like a, you know, when there's like a parking, basically the parking lot next to the cinema, you know, then there was this club called Cairo's, which is like Egyptian themed. Terrible, so I probably couldn't use this for me. But I really love the sound of it. I really like place names. At number 3 for girls, most rising names over in America, this is amazing to me, is the name Navy. I love it. I love colour names, and I think also this is kind of occupational name as well, and just works so well. It was really interesting because that colour became so popular for homes, didn't it, for a while? The Farrow and Ball, Hague blue, this sort of navy colour for our houses. And now it's translated straight into names. We're really liking it. It's already at number, it's gone up 459 spots in 1 year alone. So I wonder if that trend is going to come over and spread around the world. I always feel like in the US, a lot of the names start there and then become more popular elsewhere as well. So navy is up 459 spots. And at number 3 for boys is the name Armies. Armies. So you say it with your open R. Armies. Isn't that nice? And that means loved. Armies. I can see that making an absolutely gorgeous middle spot as well. If you've got like a name that's something more traditional, like a Charlie, that doesn't really go, Charlie Armies. Not that one. But if you have a sort of more traditional first name and you want to put something with real meaning in the middle, Armies. Okay, now I've got to really think of a good one, because Charlie Armies was not the best one. Theodora Armies. I think that sounds quite nice. You fill it in. Fill in the blanks below. Armies. Yeah, good job. I love that one. I love seeing these names go up in popularity. That went up 666 spots in 1 year alone. At number 2 for girls, this name is so popular for boys. It was one of the fastest rising in the UK for boys, but it's up 548 spots for girls in America, is the name Theodora. My sister's going to be fuming. This was her girl name and her husband wouldn't let her have it. She wanted Theodora, nicknamed Teddy, and it is just absolutely lovely. I think it's very, very glamorous, very vintage vibes. It's at 548 spots, so I wonder if it's just going to be hot on the heels of some of those other longer vintage names that have been around for so long, like Eleanor and things like that. I can imagine Theodora coming up to take over, and how nice that the boy name has gone up Theodore already, and then we're seeing Theodora go up on the girls' side. And then for boys, quite similar to Armies, Armies. There's a lot of matching pairs in this list, Armies, so maybe they're kind of a bit interchangeable, but that went up an amazing 5,302 places. So it's now at number 540 in America after being at number 5,800. So names sometimes just come from absolutely nowhere. Armies, lovely meaning. It means God will uplift, and it's an African name originally, Armies. So really nice, and yeah, I love, what crazy, just coming from absolutely nowhere right under the top 500. I think there's probably a celebrity behind that, isn't there? Not so good with my American celebs. So you guys let me know where Armies has come from. What do you think of it? I think it's really, really lovely. It is so, I like the names when they're sort of soft and gentle sounding, Armies, with this really beautiful uplifting name meaning. It's just really nice. And then the number 1, up 1,075 places in 1 year alone in America, is the name Amor, which means love. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I love all these meanings are really, really positive meanings. So it's kind of like, it seems to be there's these modern names with positive meaning trend going on, and then also the Hebrew name trend, which has been popular for ages. I must do an updated Hebrew name list.